Hello and welcome to the morning after show. My name is Joshua Reimer, and most of you know me as Roto Radar Reimer, but I am excited to join you on today's morning after show. I was about to say, Jared, usually I can start off these shows and say, like, we have plenty to talk about today. We were kind of talking before the show that we don't have a lot to talk about today. It's kind of a slow day. Maybe things pick up, but we'll just have to see. Hopefully, we get some breaking news on the air because that's always fun.
I think that we could. I mean, it's Wednesday. Hopefully, it's NFL news. Hopefully, it's not something sad or something, but that
Yeah.
is what it is. Wednesdays are always going to be slow until NBA comes back. But we do have, we do have some major things to talk about here.
Yeah, we definitely have some major things to talk about for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good slate, or not a good slate. It's going to be a good morning show. Man, am I tired. I was telling Jared that had a lot of work to do last night. Ended up pulling an all-nighter, and your boy's a little bit exhausted right now. So, Jared, I'm going to let you take it away. How was your day yesterday? You have a good day? I know Tuesday's kind of a light. It's probably your lightest day of the week, right?
It is easily my lightest day of the week by far. I use it as my Saturday because honestly, I work on Saturday even though I don't have to provide content for it. So yeah, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are kind of my weekend a little bit during the NFL season, and I'm happy that we don't have to have games moved due to COVID, as though I don't have to prepare for games on Tuesdays anymore.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a nightmare last year when we had to be very flexible. Want to talk to the chat. Good morning, Black Eddie. KB Pitts there. Let's get it. Let's get it, good sir. Hockey fan 26 says morning. Good morning. X Bodine says good morning. Hello. D Fight says sup fellas. Desert Zombie says good morning. Little Italy, good morning. How you doing? Black Eddie, as the show introduction starts, y'all should play replays from previous nights of sports. I think it would be cool addition family if possible. So like it's something that I want to do. It's just getting that ready before the show when I already have a lot to get ready before the show is a little rough, but we can definitely try that. I think like having our own little top 10 would be kind of cool, Jared. It would take a lot, but I feel like having our own little top 10 would be cool. D. Emphasize said, hey, fellas, I never got my past two FanDuel vouchers. Those will be going out this week for sure. I know Sean contacted his guy, and I don't think his guy ever got back to him this past week. So it's all about that guy getting back to him, and I'm sure it'll come through this week. Will Harp says, good morning. Good morning, man. How you doing? Uh, Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, nothing else. Jared, what else is up with you? Anything else going on? Anything exciting for you today?
Like I said, just this is kind of my Sunday, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be prepping stuff. And the week four research started a little bit this morning, but
There you
other
go.
than that, nothing too much going on here.
Yeah, definitely. I have a little a present that I got from my girlfriend. I got her Harry Styles tickets because she's been wanting to go see him so bad, and she's been telling me that she really wants to go. And so this is a little early Christmas present slash a thank you present for dealing with me while NFT launch was going on because it was just an absolutely insane period where I wasn't able to see her that much. So she's
Right.
happy. We get to go do that tonight. I don't know if I'm excited necessarily, but I'm sure it'll be really cool. I'm sure it'll be a good time. Um, KB Pitt says New York Yankees plus 1,200 to win the World Series. St. Louis Cardinals plus 1,600 to win the World Series. Spicy. Yeah, definitely spicy. We'll be talking about that when we get to the MLB roundtable. Little Italy should say top 10 would be the shit. Yeah, top 10 would be a lot of fun. We'll have to see if we can get that done. There's a zombie says Richard Sherman joins the Bucks. We'll have to talk about that during the NFL talk segment, but should be a good time. Should be a good show. Jared, if you have nothing else, we can move on to talk about, well, all the topics are already up, so you guys know exactly what we're doing. We could talk about what happened in the MLB last night. So without further ado, let's get to it. I'll start out with my favorite point to talk about. My New York Yankees ended up pulling out a big dub against the Blue Jays. Now 2 games ahead. Not only did the Blue Jays ended up losing, but the Red Sox also ended up losing last night to the lowly Orioles. It's rough sledding out there in the AL East. Teams that we thought would win, specifically the Boston Red Sox, right? We really thought this was going to be an easy series, and it looks like it might not be an easy series.
Yeah, Orioles are playing spoiler right now. Maybe that, or just the fact that Chris Sale just doesn't face them very well. I don't know.
No,
Maybe that's his kryptonite. I don't know. I mean, he did. He gave up 3 runs against this team in 5 innings. So that's normally that would be something that'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine. But he's done it now back to back times against the Orioles. So I think that that team just has something on him that we don't really know or see. So very interesting there. Also, the fact that Zimmerman only gave up 1 run was impressive,
Oh.
and the Orioles bullpen actually shut them out. So that definitely was probably the biggest shock of the day. Um, yeah, I, the Red Sox, while their schedule might be easy on paper, those teams are playing spoiler for sure in this case.
Look, I think there's something about that spoiler role that just teams fucking love it for some reason. Like even lowly teams like the Orioles love it. A team that's
Yeah,
going to end up losing 100+ games this year. They love the fact that they're able to they have the potential to like affect the playoffs because they know
right.
personally like they're not going to do anything in the postseason, but they know they can affect the playoffs this way. So I think they enjoy it. I think they thrive in it. It's going to be interesting because today it's Lowther for Baltimore and it's Eovaldi for Boston. So
Yeah,
it's going to be another good game in my opinion.
it definitely will. And this is at what point as a Red Sox fan do you start to worry? Because I don't think you worry yet, but it's getting close.
If you lose 2 out of the 3 games, then you start to worry a little bit. I think if you lose
Yeah,
2 out of the 3 against the Orioles, you hit the panic button. I don't know who the Red Sox get for the weekend.
it's Washington.
Okay, so I mean it's not bad necessarily. I wouldn't say it's great. Man, they really tried to screw the Yankees here on this little last run because the Blue Jays get the Orioles for the last 3 games,
Yeah, they
even though
do.
we got the fucking Rays. Like ridiculous, man, absolutely insane. But hey, we're taking the challenge. 7 straight is no easy feat, and we're doing it. So hopefully we get another win. Let's talk about that Yankees game a little bit. I know we're kind of fast forwarding to today, but we have the Yankees facing off against the Blue Jays again. Blue Jays have their addition in Jose Barrios, while the Yankees have Garrett
Yep.
Cole on the mound. Who are you favoring early on?
I mean, if there's a time for Garrett Cole to come back to his former self, this will be it. This is his like he needs to win today. Like
Yep.
I think that's how you should approach it. I know that it was a big win last night, but you need to win today if you're Garrett Cole. Like you should be expecting nothing less as a Yankees fan, and as a team, you need to just I don't know. There's no losses. Like losing here is unacceptable in my opinion.
Losing here is like the end of your season. I mean, like I know they're 2 games ahead and everything. So I guess if we lost 2 out of 3, I wouldn't. I'd be a little stressed, but I wouldn't have been as stressed as if we were on this 7 game win streak. But the thing that sticks out to me is that tomorrow you get Robbie Ray. So like
Right.
you get this
Exactly.
team's actual ace tomorrow. That scares the bejesus out of me that you have to face off against Robbie Ray for the last game of this series. D Ramified says, who's going to be better today, Eovaldi or Cole? I would say Eovaldi is what I would lean towards, but that's just me trying to be safe because I don't
Yep.
know. But Toronto's full of killers, man.
At what point do so the public doesn't really look at it this way, but as a coach and as sports bettors, we have to look at what is going to happen 4 or 5 days from now if the Yankees, like you said, they have a tough matchup tomorrow, and you could even start planning out who the starters are going to be through the end of the season. So at one point, do you think that they would roll Cole as maybe off of 2 or 3 days rest and have him play on Saturday or Sunday?
100%. You get him on 3 days rest if you bring him out on Sunday again. I think if you're in a spot where you need to win that game, you 100% roll him out. There's no question about it. Even if you use a bullpen approach, roll him out and then roll Severino out because Severino's been pitching through the bullpen recently. I think maybe that's the way to go. Like Garrett Cole eat up 3 innings, let Sevy eat up 3 innings, and then rely on that bullpen. Um, but yeah, you need to go to Garrett Cole. Then again, like the Rays are Cole's kryptonite. So do I even want Cole on the mound against the Rays? I don't know. It's a really tough spot. Even though the Yankees are what they hold on, I'm pulling up the
Or
wild
do you
card.
expect the Rays to actually go all out on Saturday and Sunday?
I don't think you would you want to face off against this Yankees team. I think they
I mean, is
know
that who
that.
they would play? Is that who they would play?
Uh, Actually, no, I guess not. I mean, at some point in the playoffs, they would play each other, most likely.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it all depends on positions, right? Like it all depends on where we are on Sunday. This playoff race could look completely different. You could have two completely different teams in these wild card spots come Sunday. So
Yep.
like it could be Seattle and Toronto by Sunday. It could be honestly, it wouldn't be completely crazy to see Oakland and Seattle by Sunday. So I don't know. I feel like the more and more that I look at Seattle and see how well this team is playing, I feel like they're getting closer and closer to me as a lock for the postseason and to grab that second wild card spot. Um, they face the Angels this weekend after they get done with this series, and that's just. I mean, they should be able to win all three games there. Then again, we keep saying this. We keep saying these teams have easy series, but like they keep struggling, right? Like
Yep.
examples, perfect examples, Boston, and then another example is the Blue Jays too. Like they had easy series and they were struggling. So I don't know. It's playoff race is going to be fun to keep up. I mean, we've been talking about it for 3 weeks nonstop, and like I don't think it's disappointed whatsoever. This is gonna be down to the wire.
Yeah, it really is. And look at that, man. The Mariners keep going. Yeah, they keep winning.
Yep.
And it seems like that Oakland thing is a real thing. 9-1 for Seattle in their last 10 games, and they still continue to have one of the best home records in the league. Yeah, I'm impressed. It was not really like it wasn't a joke that I said this last week, but it was very a long shot approach. And now we're here, and there's only 5 games left in the season, and they're staring at they're a half game below the Red Sox. Well, they have the same amount of wins. Mariners have one more loss. So I think with that, Oakland is not out of it just yet, but they need some drastic things to happen, and they need to sweep the Astros this weekend.
Yeah, and good luck with that. That's gonna be a real fun series to watch. Um, Man, it's kind of crazy, and I wonder if things will keep up today because you have another Mariners and Athletics game, and you have Frankie Montas on the mound for the Athletics. They're
Yeah.
basically their ace, and you have Logan Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners. So, like, do we see that trend continue even through a bad pitching matchup? I don't know. All
Dude,
I know is that my
I
underdog play cashed yesterday because of the Mariners winning.
nice. Uh, you would actually kind of be shocked if I told you what Bet Online had this game at right now, in terms of Frankie should be the clear favorite here, but it's not as simple as that.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, he's only minus 109 on the road.
wow. Yeah, I mean it's probably just a hot stretch, right? Like they're probably good
Yeah,
on them for taking into account that this athletics team is or the athletics team is ice cold and this Mariners team is red hot. So, and this Mariners team is red hot because they're playing against the Athletics. That still blows my mind. Now it's 12 straight that the Mariners have won against the Athletics. That's like pure domination throughout the season. That's insane.
yep, yep. My underdog bet lost yesterday. Zach Wheeler had only 1 run of support and he gave up 2 runs. So that was how that
Ooh.
went. And
Yeah.
then my lock bet won actually kind of close. It was Giants minus 1.5, and they only won by 2 runs. So
Yeah.
very, very sweaty last night. But yeah, I think all in all, we did really well. I think we went 3 out of 4.
Yes. No, we went 2 out of 4. We split even
Oh,
because
damn.
my lock play was the over in the Red Sox and Orioles game,
Bummer.
and
Yeah.
fucking Red Sox just don't show up. The Orioles did what they needed to do. They got their 4 runs in. That's all I needed them to do. Red Sox should have been able to cover the rest, and just weren't able to. Desert Zombie says just pretend the Rays are a little league team. I guess that's one approach, especially because of that commercial with Stanton and Judge. I'm sure that's why he said it. D. Ramsey said Sox didn't show up. Yeah, Sox did not show up for us. That's all right though. We'll get right. I mean, get right. We broke even. I'll take breaking even over losing money any day of the week, right?
Have to always look at it that way. If you're losing and not losing any money, then it's a good day.
Yeah, very good day. Very, very good day. Um, all right. MLB. Anything else that we need to? I mean, like, we can talk about the Cardinals. They just continue to fucking beat you guys and stay red hot. So, like, what are they
Yeah.
gonna beat you again today? I don't even know the pitching matchup, but
Ooh, yeah. I want to know who made the schedule for the end of the year. That's what I want to know.
hey, we're both out for him, man. We'll go find him and figure out who it is because it's ridiculous for the both of us. Mikolas on the mound for St. Louis today, and my boy Adrian Hauser on the mound for the Brewers. I don't know. I could very easily see this being win number, what, 17, 18
18.
for the
Yeah.
Cardinal. 18 wins. That's insane, man. That's a
Yep.
lot of wins.
Yep. The last time that well, there's obviously been several in history, but the biggest one that they're chasing right now, which I don't think that they have enough games, they're going to run out of games before they get there, is the Cleveland Indians from 3 or 4 years ago, maybe
I
4 years
remember
ago.
that. That was
They won like
crazy.
24 straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So that's what they're chasing right now. Regardless, I mean, the Cardinals are the hottest team in baseball. I'd be terrified if I was the Dodgers because that's probably who they're going to end up playing in that wild card game to get in. So, and then whoever does that plays the leader of the NL West. So it's going to be, I don't know, that I've never seen an underdog come in this hot and possibly be able to take down a number one seed.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm going to go look over at Bet Online right now. Do they have the worst odds out of the playoff group right now to win the World Series?
I think
No.
that they do.
They well, I mean it just all depends on I guess who gets in for the it all depends who gets in the wild card spot
Yeah,
for
there are going to be
the
some teams
AL.
eliminated here for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like I think Oakland probably gets eliminated soon. Philly, does Philly get eliminated or is Philly winning the division? No, Philly's going to get eliminated soon. Um man, that Philly bet is off at plus 8,000. They're going to get like eliminated here in a few days.
Yep.
Um yeah, I don't see anything else that's like super off.
They really jacked up the Cardinals. They really jacked them up. They have them over Boston and Toronto. Well, I
Yeah,
guess both of those teams could not make it, but let's see.
yeah. I mean, can you blame them for having them over? Even if like Red
No,
Sox and Toronto came in and won, and they both got into the wild card, like I would still think the Cardinals had better odds to win the World Series.
I think they would have better odds than the Braves at this moment too.
Yeah.
That's as far as I can go though.
Uh, yeah, I can agree with that. I think you get to these top teams and it's pretty loaded, right? I think everyone's pretty even outside of like I don't know if the Dodgers should be plus 340. I feel like that's a little bit off, but Giants still seem undervalued at plus 550. Astros seem a little undervalued at plus 550. Uh, I am excited for next week on Monday when we're doing the show and we can go through these odds again because I think there's going to be a few bets that I'm going to have personally that I'm going to play some cheddar on because I feel good about them and just have some rooting interest in the playoffs since I won't be providing DFS. I know our pros will be providing it, but I won't. The Fight said, "How far do the Cardinals go?" Jared, give me your guess. Do they get past the wild card? Sean and I had this talk yesterday.
Well, I think we can already kind of not definitively state, but I would think that it would be what would be a one? Is it a one game series
One.
for? Yeah, so them versus the Dodgers,
Yep.
probably in. So Cardinals would have to go to LA. I think that there is a small chance that's growing that they are the hotter team, and yeah, I could. But again, you're gonna see gonna have to rely on playoff Kershaw and that extremely dependable bullpen. So it would be Kershaw versus Wainwright, right? Because Wainwright just pitched today. I'm guessing he probably would. They'd probably rest him until that game, and if they win out, then I would say they probably can take. They can take two from the Giants.
Yeah, I can agree with that. They go 3-2 against the Giants. They end up beating the Dodgers. I think I can get behind that. I don't know. Do they roll out Kershaw because he's coming off that injury, or do they roll out Bueller? I think that
Yeah,
it is
good
close
question.
between the two. And honestly, like if you're playing the matchup game, you definitely want to have Bueller out
Bueller.
there. You don't
Yeah,
want to have Kershaw.
agreed.
There's too many righty smashers that absolutely kill lefties on that team to try to roll out Kershaw. So I think that could be interesting. If they roll out Kershaw, I think that could be a major misstep.
Yeah, now that you say it, I think that would be probably the biggest mistake they could make.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Bueller probably is the dude. They have home field advantage. I would expect them to come in heavy favorites, but again, if the Cardinals win out, they win out, and they're hotter. Maybe they can make things happen. But again, there is still time for them to get cold.
Yeah, right. Like there's like this is not just because they've won 17 straight doesn't mean that that's how they're going to end off the season. They could very easily go out here and lose the next 5 games, and it's the script gets flipped, right? It's instead of
Right.
them being the hot team coming in, one, we don't even know if they'll be the team coming in at that point, but they'll be the cold team coming in if they are in the wild card spot. So like it's uh it's definitely not for sure yet. But like when the team is this hot, you definitely got to pay attention. And like we've talked about several times, it's just about getting hot at the right time. If you get hot at the right time, then usually you're able to win it all. And so we're seeing the Cardinals do that, at least to some respect. We're seeing the Yankees starting to do that. So should be interesting to see who comes out on top. All right, any other
Yeah.
MLB talk? If not, we're going to do some flag on the play.
Yeah. Speaking of teams that are not hot at the right time, Josh, the Padres are 1-9 in their last 10,
Mm-hmm.
and they fell below 500 for I think the first time all year.
Oh my god. What a what an like as is it what as if it wasn't already a disaster. Now it's just like a mega disaster. Like it's just
Mhm.
absolutely awful that you're going to be not only not making the playoffs, but you're 10 games back from the wild card and you're going to be under 500 most likely cuz you have to face the
Yep.
Dodgers and then I'm pretty sure don't they have to face the Giants right after that? Like isn't that the weekend series for them? Yep, it is.
Yep.
It's in San Fran. So like you have to face the Giants in San they're going to have a losing record this season and that's just pitiful, man. That's absolutely awful.
It's amazing that so the Rays still have a chance to do this, but they're the only team that has a chance. We are going to have two teams for sure over 100 wins since they're already there that are in the same division. And yeah, nobody else could get to 100 except for the Rays, who have 97 wins.
Which is crazy to me because like they're in the same division. Like when's the last time we've seen that? I honestly don't know the
Uh,
answer to that.
Yankees, Red Sox probably in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
would make sense. I could definitely see that. It's been forever since we've seen something like that happen. So it's crazy to see the dominant run that both of them have gone on. Um, Kai Berry says, "Does Garrett ruin those Giants by name proxy?" Sure, why not? We can make it a Jared, jeez, a Garrett Wednesday as well. Can't talk right now. All right, anything else in MLB? If not, let's talk about a little bit of flag on the play.
No, as soon as we can stop playing the Cardinals, I would love that. So 2 more days.
Yeah, 2 more days. Who do you guys have for your last series?
I think we have the Cubs.
Oh, okay. So nice, easy sledded into the playoffs. Very easy. All right, flag on the play. This is a section where we talk about plays that either did poorly that we expected to do well, or did well that expected to do poorly yesterday. I mean, I feel like the easier way to start this out is just to say, what the hell happened in that Coors game, man? Like, this is a game where we expected fireworks, and we got 4 total runs and 3 runs
Yep.
from the Rockies. I mean, like it just wasn't the game that I expected. Corbin always turns into an ace when you least expect it.
He certainly does. And yeah, that was obviously one of the bigger surprises outside of what I was going to say in the Red Sox. I'm going to also call flag on the play on myself because I
Uh
got the Cubs matchup wrong. And it's definitely not the Cubs, Josh. It's the Dodgers in LA.
oof, oof. That's rough. That's very rough. Hey, you can play a little. You guys get to play a little bit of spoiler. Then at least that means something to you because I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it'd be advantageous for you guys to kick him out to the wild card spot. I think you'd rather face the Giants in all honesty. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I think that's good, man. It makes the last weekend that much more enticing, and should be a good time. Um, Another flag on the play that I found really interesting, and I'm not really sure if he got hurt or what happened, but I know Sean had him in his lineup, and I don't see any like game time decision tag on him on FanDuel. But what the hell happened with Brady Singer? I wasn't able to watch the game, but I know he went 1 inning, didn't even get an out. I think that no, he did get 2 outs, but he allowed 3 earned runs. He had 0 strikeouts, and they just yanked him. And like it just
Yeah.
it makes no. Did he get injured? Do you know by chance if he got injured here?
Yeah. Apparently he had upper arm discomfort, is what the team is reporting.
Okay.
But it was one of those things where like I don't. It was he probably just like got worried and he like maybe he thought he pulled something, but he said Mike Matheny, their manager, said that he grimaced, and then he said something didn't feel right, something didn't look right, so they just pulled him immediately. So that doesn't happen very often. It happens maybe like 5 times a season for guys like this in the first inning. But yeah, unfortunately, it happened last night. For shortest start of his career, just happened to be one of those things that went wrong last night.
See, like I don't want to put anything bad on him because sure, it totally could have been an injury, but like half of the time when you say that type of thing, it's like, all right, I just don't got it today. Like
I
I
mean,
gotta
that
get
could be
up.
it too. Yeah,
You know, we
you
we've
just
seen that plenty of times from pitchers where they're just like, don't have it today. Arm's not feeling well, man. I think I got to get out of the game. And it's the end of the season too, right? Like there's no reason if it was during the regular or if it was in the middle of the season when I don't think this Royals team ever really had a chance, but maybe they had a little bit more of a chance. Maybe it's a different story, but like it's the end of the season. You have a losing record. There's not much else to play for here. You're not facing off against a team where you can play that spoiler role. So I don't know. It is what it is. Hopefully he's all right. I seriously, I don't want to discredit an injury. If he is actually injured, then hopefully he is okay. But I don't know. Whenever I hear that type of thing where it's a pitcher saying like something doesn't feel right, and then hearing the next day that it seems like he's going to be fine, because I was just looking at it. It said the prognosis said that or looked optimistic. So if that's the
right.
case and he is fine, then like that's what it seems like to me at least.
Yeah, so for me, it's along the same lines of that. I mean, one, you could say like, at that point, when you're a pitcher in the league like that, if you're not ready to go, and they don't need to force him out there. So
No.
he could have said, "Hey, maybe I'm not ready to go today," but he didn't do that. So
Yeah.
he waited until the first inning to do that. But the other side of it is like, why injure yourself to do rehab in the off season?
Yep.
That's kind of where I'm going with that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like, why, if you aren't feeling right, like, if you do feel that little bit of discomfort, there's no reason to strain yourself. Like, you're about to have vacation time. They get a couple months off before they have to report to do workouts and stuff. So, like, he knows it's vacation time. Why would he want to rehab through his vacation? He's probably
Oh,
he's probably happy, just happy with saying like, if his arm even feeling a little bit uncomfortable, just being like, yeah, discomfort, got to get out, coach, and it's just fine. All
yeah.
right. Any other flag on the plays for you on yesterday's slate?
No, just a weird day, and we have another day ahead of us today. Hopefully, less weird things happen.
Yeah, hopefully less variance. Variance has kind of been kicking our ass recently, so hopefully it cuts it out, and we will get back on track today because I know been a little bit off of the track recently, but I have a good feeling. I got a quick look at today's slate before we went live, and I think there's a few spots that we're going to be able to take advantage of over the industry. So I am excited about that. All right, plenty to talk about in the NFL. We got the news this morning that Richard Sherman is going to be a Buccaneer.
Yep.
Jared, first thoughts: is this good for the Bucks? Is this bad for the Bucks? What are you thinking?
I think it certainly helps that they have depth. I know he's not at the athletic part of his prime anymore, but at the same time, he brings a lot to the game mentally and strategically. So I think it's a step up for them. Like I said yesterday, I think that we're starting to see a little bit. I'm not going to say this is not like overwhelming, overblowing news, but we're starting to see conferences start to pile up a little bit like the NBA kind of does at this time. Or I mean, this is kind of early in the year for this to happen, but the NBA, when two teams kind of start to emerge and the veterans start to go to each, team, that's kind of what this feels like a little bit with Josh Gordon signing with the Chiefs and Richard Sherman signing with the Bucks. He's going to be able to play. Should be able to get cleared enough to play against the Patriots this week. I don't expect to see him out there too much, but again, I think that the way I will look at this is he doesn't. It's not like a huge step up for the secondary because I don't think he's that lockdown guy like he used to be. But he does bring um, intelligence to the table as well as just years of experience, and I think that he can help a lot of those guys out in that secondary. That's kind of been struggling.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a crazy stat this morning as I'm waiting to go live on this show because, like I told you, I didn't get the chance to tell everyone else, but I'm more than happy to tell everyone else. Got done with editing our Shot to the Moon podcast around like 7:30 this morning, and I was like, well, if I go to take a nap now, I probably won't wake up for the show. So just decided to stay up and started scrolling through TikTok a little bit, and there was this guy that was covering who was giving up the most fantasy points. The Buccaneers have given up the most
Yep.
PPR fantasy points out of any team this season. They're giving up like
Yep.
no points to running backs, but they're giving up a shit ton of QBs and an amazing amount to wide receivers. So like
Makes
even
sense.
if you can bring that number down a little bit, I'm sure it's going to help your team overall.
Yep, Tampa Bay is definitely a funnel defense. They always try to stop the run. They faced a few high-powered offenses that certainly have exploited that. The Rams, Cooper Kupp, obviously, along with some of those wide receivers. Deshaun Jackson looked good this weekend too against them. And also, obviously, don't forget about Dallas and even Atlanta. They all torched them in the passing game. So
Yeah.
that's a trend to start looking at. But yeah, I think that it's not going to necessarily stop that problem, but it should help down the stretch as this team prepares for another postseason run. That's kind of the way that I'm going to view that.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of these guys going to other teams or these teams loading up on guys, on these veteran free agents, let's talk about some veteran free agents that might be able to help out a team or two. We know that the Lions released Jamie Collins, so he's potentially a guy. Let me go through this
Yep.
list that our AP gave us: Cam Newton, Todd Gurley, Golden Tate, Tyler Eifert, Geno Atkins, Trey Burton, Quan Short, Reuben Foster, Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman obviously signed today. Trey Boston, Mitchell Schwartz, Russell Kong, David DeCastro, Jamie Collins, John Brown, and PJ
Okay.
Hall. That's a lot of interesting names, man. I feel like I'm kind of surprised that some of those guys like
Yeah.
aren't a death beast on teams, especially Kawan Short. I don't feel like Kawan Short's that old and shouldn't be out of the NFL right now.
Yeah, he was a good one. Trey Boston is up there.
Yeah,
Russell Okung is definitely up there. I don't know how he's not on the team. And
there's
then the one guy that's going to jump to, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Chiefs, would be, or even the Bucks at that point, is John Brown. I think John Brown still has it. I think that have plagued him. COVID's plagued him over the past two seasons. The fact that he got cut from the Raiders definitely is disappointing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that outside of Collins and Okun, I think somebody should be looking at John Brown for the playoffs. And I think that it could be one of these teams easily, maybe even the Seahawks. Or Josh, maybe even a team like the Titans, because we do have some breaking news today
oh
about the Titans. AJ Brown, we already knew was dealing with an injury that's going to be probably taking him out of this week. Now, Josh, we do have an injury from Julio Jones. So it starts. It
no.
begins now. Julio Jones getting treatment on a leg injury. His status against the Jets is up in the air. So AJ Brown already going to miss this week with a hamstring. Julio Jones probably out this. Well, we don't know yet, but he's getting treatment for an injury. Not a good way to start your week if you're a Titans fan.
No, not at all. I'm happy I didn't wear the Titans hat today. I'm happy I stuck with the Lakers hat since yesterday was media day. Yeah, that's rough, man. Like that's the only thing that could decimate that offense, right? Like it's those injuries. And I mean, Julio on the older side. Kai said it perfectly in the chat. Julio's kind of always hurt. You know, he dealt with a ton of injuries
Yeah.
during preseason too. So like, I'm not technically surprised to see that he's injured, but like you have your two top wide receivers. Do you just finally just like give Derrick Henry the Najee Harris treatment and target him 20 times this week?
I mean, I'm gonna play Henry regardless this week.
Yeah.
So that's it. That is what it is. But they need some help. They lost some key guys. Obviously, they lost Corey Davis, who would be great right now if they had him. Just saying. Sorry, Jets, but they need the Titans definitely could use Corey Davis right now. They could use Adam Humphries. I know Anthony Firkser is working his way back, but they don't really have anybody else. And Khalif Raymond went to the Lions, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like we saw last week, they just had a bunch of no-name guys score touchdowns, but they're just not going to be able to carry them. Derrick Henry will have to literally carry them to the playoffs, which could happen. We'll see. But yeah, that they're definitely going to need some help.
No, and
Speaking
there's
of teams,
oh,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go for it.
No, I was saying, speaking of teams that need wide receiver help, the Ravens actually get some good news today. They activated Rashad Bateman their rookie pickup, and then Miles Boykin, the pickup from last year. They both took them back from injured reserve today, and they're going to be practicing in place of trying to suit up this weekend.
That's great. I could not wait to see Rashad Bateman in the league. I think Rashad Bateman is an absolute dog. So I'm very excited to see how he turns out if he is going to get that playing time that he deserves, and should be interesting. I was just going to say before we moved on from the Titans situation, I think they're still without Ferksker too. So like just one more
Yeah.
passing option that's out of play, and Chester Rogers and who I think they had Westbrook back there, right? DD Westbrook. Like that's not going to get the job done most likely.
Yep, exactly. And Kai says, when's the last time Julio practiced? His rookie year. That's the last time he practiced.
There you go. Yeah, you are not wrong. Uh, so with the Jamie Collins stuff, I do want to talk about that a little bit more because I feel like out of that whole list, Jamie Collins is probably the most prolific free agent and the guy who can actually make
Yep,
the biggest difference out of everyone we talked about. You
certainly.
got any ideas of where he could go? You have any teams that pop to your mind?
Yeah, there's a few. The first thing I'll say, it was actually news yesterday afternoon after the NFL's show. The Lions actually did end up paying Jamie Collins 20 million for this season. So
Ridiculous.
he did get paid regardless, and he's going to get paid wherever he ends up going. So I think a team like, let's see, I think the Eagles need somebody like him, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that the Ravens could use another piece on the defensive side, especially if they're continuing to get hurt as much as they are. And I mean, Dallas is already extremely gifted at that position, except that they always kind of just deal with injuries. So for me, I think it's Ravens or Eagles. I can't think of really any other team that would need it. That's going to in a playoff race because I think Jamie Collins, he's paid for the season already. If I was him and if I was his agents, I would be shocked if I would send him to a team that's destined to fail, right?
Yeah.
So it seems to me like maybe he goes to the Browns. I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to feel like playoff teams that we can tell right now are on their way up, and the one that might stand out the most, Josh, could be the Panthers.
Yeah, I like all those teams that you just mentioned. Those are all really solid options. I think him going back to New England is definitely a possibility.
Yep.
He plays best when
Yep.
he's in New England, so like that's where I would like to see him because he's just an absolute animal whenever he gets there. Belichick knows how to use him exactly the right way and
I agree.
exactly the right way to use his skill set. So I think the Patriots are a spot. You think that I mean, like this isn't a team that came up, but this is a team that we talk about their defense is horrible. Do the Chiefs deserve some consideration in this scenario?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Like they already made a move for Josh Gordon, so they're already kind of looking at like, hey, we need to do some stuff here. Like we're not as good as we probably thought we were personnel wise. They're not even worried. Like they're not even experiencing that many injuries either. So the Chiefs have had an interesting 3 games. I think that they'll be fine again. I'm not worried about them. But maybe these 2 losses are signs of like, hey, maybe we're not as solid as we once thought.
yeah. Definitely gonna be interesting to see how the rest of that plays out and to see if this is like if this is just buyout season in the NBA, NFL
Could
style.
be.
Like, if that's the case, then things could get interesting for those top-heavy teams like the Chiefs, like the Bucks, like all the other guys out there that could potentially go out and get those free agents. Kai Berry says we'll be talking about the Chiefs' defense later. I know he has a lot planned for us for our segment today, so I'm excited for that. All right, anything else NFL for you? If not, we have an NBA video to go over, and then we're going to talk about media day. I think we're also going to be talking about some bets and some futures potentially.
Yes, we are. The one thing I do want to say is something that our AP put in the chat, but I actually was gonna talk about this anyway as a pretty interesting nugget. Derek Carr currently leads the passing yardage through 3 weeks by like several hundred yards. He has 1,200 right now, and I think the closest is Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford with like 900 or 1,000. So Raiders gonna have to pass a ton if Josh Jacobs continues to be out, and I think that's gonna be a thing that he's gonna struggle with all season.
Wait, how many yards does Derek Carr have?
He has like 1,200 something.
What in the where did that come from? Like, That's one of those things that just no one's talking about. Yeah, of course, I Googled Derek Carr and it says Derek Carr on record setting pace. Um,
Yep.
if he continues this pace, he's going to surpass the 6,000 yard mark. Like, I don't think he continues it most likely, but if he does, that'd be insane.
Oh, he will this week. He plays the Chargers.
Oh, yeah. So he probably will be throwing that ball plenty. All right, let's talk about some NBA. Before we get into those futures that we were just talking about, we have a little video to go over. So we had Kevin Durant at Media Day, and I think this is a little fun one. So let's go over to our video recap section where we have Kevin Durant. We have him talking. And I think this is David Letterman talking to KD. I don't know if you've seen this already. I know you don't get to listen in with us, but I'll play it for all our listeners here.
The gentleman with his hand raised in the back.
Yes, excuse me. Hi, Kevin. Could I borrow your notebook? I didn't bring. Thank you. Dave from Basketball Digest. Kevin, KD. Why do people call you KD? Can I call you KD? Or
Yeah.
okay.
My first name is Kevin.
Right.
And my second name, my last
Write that
name,
down.
my second name. My last name is Durant with a D.
KD. This year, what percentage do you plan on giving on the court? 90, 95, 100, 110? What are we looking at?
110.
110. 110. I just got off the phone with the Dolan family, and they said that they're talking to the commissioner now. They're looking at working a contractual deal that will allow you, when you're not playing for the Nets, days off, you'll be able to play for the Knicks. Comments?
All right, Dave, that was the last one.
Okay, so I had yet to get the opportunity to watch the video. I'm so happy I got to react to that live because that's freaking hilarious. Especially the way that Katie is like, all right, last one. That's it, man. Like, cut it out. That's enough. That's enough, David. Gosh, that was hilarious. Anyway, gets into us talking about Media Day because Media Day's been a lot of fun so far. We got to see the Boomer Squad. My Lakers take their picture. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw that picture. 6 guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame in that picture. Rondo, Westbrook, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, LeBron, and of course I'm missing one right now, and it's just not coming to my head. But there's a 6th in there somewhere. Melo, thank you. Melo. Jeez, almost forgot about Melo. Yeah, it was a great picture, but it just reminded, like, I saw some Twitter accounts say, like, there's 6 Hall of Famers in that picture, and it just reminded me, like, gosh, we're old, man. We're
There
so
was like,
old.
Yeah, I saw there was like 56 All-Star appearances or something. Yeah.
Holy moly, that's crazy. Yeah, that team's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. The team's gonna be I'm so excited, but I'm a Lakers fan, so I even have my Lakers championship hoodie on. So that's the mood that we're in after seeing that picture yesterday. Anything jump off the page to you for NBA Media Day?
Yeah. First of all, I can't wait to call them the Boomer Squad every podcast I'm on. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of Bulls talk. A lot of Bulls talk. And that's not even because I live close. It's everything that I've seen so far. The Charlotte Hornets are also gaining some steam too in regards to the guys that they've picked up. Their squad is very young, but extremely, extremely freakishly talented. Kelly Oubre going there saying that he's more excited now than he has been over the past 5 years to start the season. That kind of feels like a shot to that Warriors team from last year.
Seriously.
But yeah, Charlotte's gonna be fun to watch. I think that Chicago, I'm interested to see how all those pieces work, and that'll tie directly into what our futures talk's gonna be. I know we only have 10 minutes left or so, but that is going to be probably one hot topic of conversation if they start off not as strong as people expect them to.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to teams starting off hot, I think this Lakers team is going to start out really cold this season. I would not be surprised to see this Lakers team have like a losing record throughout the first 10 games, and everyone's going to freak out. Everyone's going to get super worried about it. I will say, don't stress. They'll be just fine. They just need to get a little bit of melding together. Kai said, honorary Laker fan here. Yeah, I know he's an OKC fan, so he's just happy to hopefully see Brody succeed. Bodine says we're old, but we're gonna kick ass this year, Josh. Hey, I hope so, man. I'm praying. I'm praying that we do well. Will Harp said, "What about the Wolves? If they add Simmons, can they win a playoff game? Not series, just a game. Can they win one with Ben Simmons at the helm?
Nope.
What would they have to give
Not
up for
good.
Ben Simmons? Like what? Like the whole
All of their
team?
good players.
All their good like Anthony Edwards and Cat? Like nah, yeah, probably not gonna happen at the end of the day. All right, some futures. Do you want? Well, we could say futures for. I know we potentially talked about doing futures because we thought we wouldn't be able to fill time, but we've done a really good job at doing exactly that, just filling time.
Yeah, we could discuss it a little bit. Maybe we
Yeah.
could talk about the chat's favorite teams and how they see their seasons going. For me, as the comments come in, guys, you can comment whatever you want about your teams in the chat. But I'll say to start off that the Bucks are going to be similar to the Lakers in that I do think that they start out slow. Remember that this season was already pushed, like last season was already pushed back 2 months, 3 months, and the finals didn't end until after the 4th of July. And that obviously the finals went to 6 games as well. So, and pretty much every single Bucks series went outside of the first round, it went to 6 or 7 games. So, in addition to that, Giannis did not play in the Olympics, but Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton went out, took a plane 2 days after they won the championship, and then they played in the Olympics for almost a month. So they're going to be really rough to start out. I don't think that they're going to have as fresh legs as everybody else who hasn't, like those playoff teams, Josh, they haven't, or the non playoff teams, haven't played a game since May. So they're going to be fresh and they're going to be well rested. And I think that the teams that are in deep playoff runs, kind of like what you saw from the Lakers coming in after they won the championship, starting out slow, it's going to be something that teams definitely have to get used to. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks start out slow, in addition to the Lakers.
This is exactly what I was gonna say. You can't complain because the Lakers just got shit on all the beginning of last season, and we had
Yeah.
the exact same scenario. I would love to compare days because I know that for the Lakers it was 83 days um after the finals win that they had to play in the regular season. So I'd be curious to see what it is for the Bucks, just to kind of compare and see is it going to be that same way. And I think it also just brings up the point that it's going to be really nice to see the NBA go back to normal. Knock on wood this year. I want to see this regular scheduling back in play.
Yeah, I'm actually doing the calculation now, but I need a little bit more time.
No, you're
It's
fine. I
been
can.
it's been so I think it was like July, I don't know, 10th or 11th, something like that. Um, Game 6 was it was July 20th. I was wrong. So
Wow.
wow, okay. July 20th, and then their first game was October 19th. So do the math there. I don't know. We're not good at math right now in the morning. So um August
Well,
20th, September 20th. It's about 3 months. So roughly 88 days or something like that.
you said it was July 20th, right?
Yep, July 20th to October 19th. So it's about 88, 90 days, something like that.
91 days on the dot. So they have little calculators for this stuff now. I had to do this for like a school assignment or something, and like they have like a calculator where you can put in the dates and it shows you the time in between. So 91 days in between those two. So a
The
little bit
internet's a great
longer.
thing.
It is. It really is. It is a great thing. Just a little bit longer than the Lakers, but not by much. It's a struggle, man. Like it must be hard on those players to just not get any break. I mean, we saw it absolutely affect the Lakers at the end of the season when we saw LeBron getting hurt all the time. We saw AD really struggling with injuries. Like, it affects your team much more than you realize it will until you get to the end of the season and say, wow, all of us are banged up. Like, the whole team is banged up at this point.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, I can't fault Chris and Drew for going and playing on the Olympic team. Drew wanted to play and be at the Olympics with his wife, who is on the U.S. soccer team. So, yeah, I
Cool.
can't fault them for doing any of that. It's just, that I don't know. I mean, I obviously the Bucks owe me nothing for the rest of my life, so
Yeah.
I have no qualms here. They're probably going to start out pretty slow this year and could be affected down the stretch.
See, that's that small market attitude right there. I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm expecting another one within the next couple of years. No, I'm just kidding. Still, I think it's funny. Little Italy says, "What do we think about the Cavs?" He says they'll win 9 games and then trade Sexton and Love mid-season. I think no one wants to take that Love contract, so you guys are probably stuck with him throughout the rest of his career because that Love contract is ginormous.
It's gross. Yeah.
Absolutely huge. I want to go check it out because I can't remember the last time I looked at it, but I think it was during buyout season when I was trying to see, like, is there a chance that they actually buy him out? And there's really not a chance because it's too much money, I think.
Yeah, it could be too much money.
It's Kevin Love's contract. Jeez, man. He's still owed another $60 million throughout the next 2 seasons.
Wow, that's actually insane.
Yeah. What is going on in the chat? Anyway, Black Eddie said, "Let's go Lakers. Let's do exactly that, baby." D. Ramoside said, "I think the Bucks start on target," or I think he meant on target. I don't know. I don't know. It'll be fun to watch. I think this NBA season will be great. What do you think about Kerr coming out and saying that Thompson looks really good through his first few practices? You think that's? I know they're going
Yeah.
to bring him back very slowly, is what they've said. But what
Yeah.
do you give this Warriors chance? This Warriors team a chance to win this year?
I think that they're going to be a second half team this year. I think that could be another team that starts off slow for what it's worth, but they should be okay. I saw the things about Klay Thompson too, and from what I gathered, it said that they were cautiously optimistic about him being good to go right away. Still feels like it's a little bit early for him, right? Like maybe I'm coming out of this weird, but I feel like he is still not going to be himself until probably towards the winter a little bit more.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That he's probably not going to be himself for a while. I think they said that they plan on bringing him back in like January, and I was like, that sounds about right there. That they would bring him back in January. Kerosevert has a stress fracture in his back. Is this a long time
Yeah.
worry? Man, guy cannot catch a break here. Like it was cancer last year, right? And that popped up when he got traded
Yep.
from
Yep.
the Nets, and now he has a stress fracture in his back. Like that's tough.
It is tough, and we always hate to kind of just bag on a guy because he can't stay healthy, especially when he's recovered from cancer. So I
Yeah.
mean, props to him for that, and just continuing to want to be able to play. At the same time, I do think that this is going to be something long term. So stress fracture is, it's especially when you're about to start the season in 3 weeks. He's not going to be good to go right away, and maybe he surprises all of us. But I think this is something to definitely worry about.
Does this make the Harden trade more of a win now that LeVert is getting injured like this?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. And I mean, Karras is he's now on a team where the entire team deals with this type of injury plague, right?
Yeah.
TJ Warren always injured. Brogdon has ups and downs with injuries. Sabonis was dealing with stuff. Miles Turner was hurt the majority of last year. I'm sure I'm missing guys, but there's like probably 3 or 4 more on that team that just can't stay healthy.
Guy can't
Jeremy
stay
Lamb,
healthy.
another one. Yep.
I could think of a whole bunch already, like just talking about this Pacers team. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can stay at least a little bit more healthy this season.
Yeah.
Should Luka rely more on his teammates? Seems like Jason Kidd thinks that he should, said so during media day. What do you think? Can Luka give it over his teammates, or is this just going to have to be a one-man show in Dallas again?
Well, we'll see if they give up KP. That's the biggest thing there. I don't know if anybody's going to take him necessarily, but yeah, he's going to have to carry this team for a while, especially if Jason Kidd's the coach.
You want to know what I want to see? I want to see Ben Simmons go to Dallas. That's what I want to see. Trade him for KP. Just do it straight up. Don't make Dallas give up anything else because they shouldn't need to. And see if that maybe works out. And let Ben Simmons just play a small ball 5. I think like that could potentially work. And you let Luka take on more of a shooting role, less of a point guard role. I don't know. Am I crazy, Jared? Am I talking out of my ass right now?
No, it's interesting, right? I mean, you can't rely on if I were to pick one guy to stay healthy, it would definitely be Simmons over Porzingis. So I would do that. It would make Philly's defense the scariest defense alive. But yeah, I would take that for sure.
Yeah, I could get behind that. I don't know. Maybe you need to include a role player somewhere in there, but I don't think it's a bad option. It would be interesting to see. We have D Ramified said, so who's the biggest surprise this season in the NBA? You want to give us your biggest surprise team?
I have one. Yeah, I think that the Charlotte Hornets are the surprise team in the East this year.
That makes me happy as a North Carolina guy. That makes me really happy. I think that team will be really interesting to watch if they can stay healthy, right? Because Gordon
Yep.
Hayward dealt with a ton of injuries. We saw LaMelo at the end of the season deal with some injuries, but we saw LaMelo's an absolute animal. He's going to be a really good player throughout his career. You really like to I don't know. I think he just could be really good. So I think that team could be a surprise. For me, I don't know how much of a surprise it is necessarily, but I think this Bulls team is going to be in play for some type of playoff contention. Maybe it's even a 5 or below seed, but like I think this Bulls team is going to make some noise this season.
Yeah, I can get behind the hype. I am just interested to see how they're going to use most of those guys. Like, how is DeRozan going to fit in with Levine and Lonzo? And Vooch is also a usage monster. So how are they going to make that work? Do one of those guys have to be on the bench? Are they going to do rotations? I don't know, maybe like similar to the Nets. I know I can't compare them to the Nets, but do they pick two of those guys? Like, do they start all 5 of them and then 2 of them come out before the 6-minute mark and then they rotate there until the end of the game? I don't know. I think they're the most hyped up team in the league in terms of what they did in the offseason and how bad they were last year to what they could be this year. It seems like the biggest thing is going to be, can they play defense? And I don't know if that's the case necessarily.
Yeah, defense would definitely be a worry. I mean, Vooch isn't a bad defender whatsoever, so he'll at least hold down the paint. I think Lonzo is a good defender too, or he's at least gotten better on the defensive front. So, like, those are 2 solid defenders. If you have your 5th starter as a good defender, I don't know who it would end up being. Probably like a Thad Young or something. Then, like, maybe you could consider this team at least decent at defense.
Yeah,
But I
pretty
think
sure
it's
Thad got traded though.
Oh, okay. Well, then not that. Not him then. It's someone, some good defender for them at the 4 or 3 would work out. I think it's exactly what you said, right? It's exactly what the Lakers are going to do this season. They're going to start Westbrook, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, but once you get to the 6-minute mark, you'll see LeBron get subbed out. Then it'll be Westbrook and AD. Then
Yep.
LeBron will get subbed back in when those 2 get a break, and then it'll just be a constant rotation of having 2 of those 3 guys on the floor at all times, or at least one of those 3 guys on the floor at all times. And I think that's the way to go now. Like, you can't, like, these benches are getting so solid around the league that, like, you can't be without a star player on the floor at any time if you want to be a championship contender.
Agreed. Yep. I 100% agree. We're definitely through you can't sub in and have your bench be just out there by itself for the majority of the season. It just won't work anymore.
No, it won't. And it's crazy to see that because I felt like that was never the scenario. Like early 2000s ball, that was never the scenario. You could have, if you had like a solid bench, you could leave them out there for a little bit without your star player and you'd be just fine. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be interesting to watch these teams try to implement that 2 out of 3 strategy because I think the Nets did it pretty well when they had everyone healthy,
They
right?
did.
It was rare to see everyone healthy, but when they all were healthy, they did a good job of implementing that strategy. We saw that the Warriors were kind of able to implement that strategy to some respect when they had KD. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to watch to see if these other teams that are trying to implement that strategy, if they are able to do so. Do you think either of the Warriors' first round picks can make an instant impact? We're talking about Kuminga and who was the other guy? Who was the other first round pick?
Moody, Moses Moody.
Yeah. Okay. Either one of them make any impact, or do you think either one makes any impact?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, they're just not at the point that they were a couple of years ago, the last 2 years, where they've been able to give their rookies run because the team's been bad. Now, I think they're going to change that approach a little bit. The only one that would make sense for me would be Kuminga. That could make an impact this year.
I think Kuminga's an animal, dude. I think this guy is so good. I think
Yeah.
they got to steal where they got him at.
He's very good.
I really respect Kuminga's game. So, like, I think that he has the potential to be good for that team. I'm not sure about Moody quite yet. I would have to see more. But let's move over to Bet Online because we've yet to talk about our friends over there at BOL. And they are the sponsors of our show. So Talking a little bit about Bet Online. That is not Bet Online. That is Derek Carr instead. That is Bet Online, and that is the World Series. As you guys can see, my research station is this computer that the Bet Online odds are on. So let's do our underdog bets over for the futures, because we talked about that we were going to cover these futures a little bit. Felt like we
Okay.
shouldn't. We should talk about them in some regard. If you have an underdog bet, give it to me in the divisional standings.
Divisional underdog. I am trying to find this team. There they are. This is certainly the longest shot. I don't feel as comfortable betting this, but I'm gonna back the team that I have here. I'm gonna go Charlotte at plus 1200.
Ooh, juicy, baby. I
You,
love
you
it.
never really know if Miami's gonna stay healthy, so that's
Yeah,
my
yeah. Another one of those teams, man, out there that just like cannot stay healthy. It's awful. Yeah, I like that plus 1200 bet. I can get behind it. Give me Bulls plus 800. I'll stick with my team too. If your Bucks do get off to that slow start, then and the Bulls get off to a hot start, then it's possible at least. And you have not very good teams in that division anyway, so there's not many other options if the Bucks end up struggling. All right, just to give a little shout out to our friends over at BOL. Thank you for being the sponsors. I mean, the site is absolutely amazing. We talk about it every day. I wonder, hold on, before you guys go out there, go bet on these odds for everything. Oh, we don't have any NBA boosters yet. I'm sure as we get a little bit closer to the season, we'll have some crazy NBA boosters that we'll be able to talk about. But for right now, no NBA boosters. Anything you want to say about our friends over at BOL, Jared?
No, we have another really exciting weekend of sports. Some awesome football games. I know tomorrow night people aren't as excited for, but I'm excited for it. So, uh, as far as baseball goes, keep betting the Cardinals.
Yeah, keep betting the Cardinals. This is interesting. A little bit of NBA news here before we get off the show. Russ said hell no to the Clippers. Wizards GM Tommy Shepard said Russ would have returned to Washington if Lakers were unavailable. But he did said a big old fat no to the Clippers. That's juicy, man. Especially Rondo coming back over from the Clippers. Like I don't know. Clippers are down bad right now.
They really are because I mean, maybe they're really distancing themselves that much from the Lakers that they I don't know. Russ is a LA athlete, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like he grew up wanting to be a Laker. Now he gets that chance. I wouldn't want to play for the Clippers either.
Yeah, neither would I. I think I'd rather not play for the Clippers. All right, Jared, final thoughts before we get out of here. Anything else that you want to say? We have the Strong Side stream coming up soon, but anything you want to say before we go back on the air?
Yeah, we'll be live in 2 hours. Keep an eye out for some MLB news. I believe that, can we say this, Josh? I think we can, that Sean's actually not going to be providing MLB content today, and we're going to be taking over for him once again. We'll keep you guys updated on news, but that's what it's going to be for the rest of the day here.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the case. I don't know fully yet, but I would assume that is the case for today. So just make sure to keep an eye out for it. If it is us providing for MLB, then it's per usual. I'll be the Cash Game Pro, Jared will be the GPP Pro, and I'll be providing for that 3:30 slate. So I'm gonna try to get in touch with him before we go live for the Strong Side stream. But we will keep you guys updated in the Good Skill chat room and also whenever we are on these streams as well. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good morning and good skill.